here it is. Fairly easy. It's one plain glass that you're looking at. This is the web admin, and this is the supported environment for your graphical user interface to manage all the infrastructure. It's now fully supported in every browser. Until 3.0 it was only supported in Internet Explorer, because we still needed some .NET bits that we used. That's all out now. In 3.1 we are browser agnostic, so you could use Safari, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer of course, everything you want. And it's even possible to do it from an iPad or a tablet, whatever, no problem at all. New in 3.1 is also localization support. So we bring out RHEV now in different languages. Until now it was only English, and I started in Dutch, sorry for that. But we had it only in English. Now we get all the languages in eventually that we also use in support for Red Hat. So one of the most useful languages is Japanese for me. That's a nice trick to roll that one back if you don't understand Japanese, but you can do it. Japanese, German, French, English, simplified Chinese, Spanish, it's all supported right now. And if you drill down into the RHEV manager, one of the things that we also had in previous releases was reporting. And the reporting function that we used in RHEV, it was based on Jasper reports. If you are familiar with that product? Jasper reports? Anyone? You can say it's a BI solution, a lightweight BI solution, but we've completely integrated this now into the RHEV manager. And if you right-click, for example, a data center or a SCSI storage device or a data domain, you can have now the option to show a report and click just one of the entries and you get a great view of what was going on the last period of time, and you can also export that information into PDF, HTML, whatever you like. You can put it forward to databases, other databases than the Postgres database that we use ourselves. So lots and lots of new stuff in there. New in 3.1 is also that we can more see about what is running. If you, for example, take the action to stop a VM or to create a snapshot of a VM, you click it, and in 3.0 you wouldn't see what it's doing and how much time it would take and where it goes and what's the status. We now have the option to look at tasks very in the bottom right of the normal GUI screen. There is a button Tasks, and if you go there, you can see what jobs are running and what the status is, and so forth and so forth. For debugging or for troubleshooting purposes, we have also now a code after every entry, and that code is reflected into logging. So if you want to do more troubleshooting or see what's going on underneath, you can use that as a reference for further drill down. Then we have a new command line interface also, and there was a request from many customers. In marketing, always the flashy things are shown, like the web admin GUI, but if you go to real enterprise customers, bigger customers, they want to automate, and they want to script, and they want to prevent human error. So we now have the new CLI, command line interface to RHEV, and that's called the RHEVM shell. And from that shell, you're able to do everything that you could do from the GUI interface. So now it's possible to get this into scripts and to automate everything that you want. Then a Python SDK. Now, I'm not a programmer, and I'm not that familiar with this stuff, but I had a training a couple of weeks back in Farnborough at one of our labs, and I played around a bit with the software development kit. You could do really nice things with this one. One of the things is, for example, there's no default possibility to create a serial console to a VM. With the Python SDK, it's only a couple of lines and you create a serial console, no problem at all. which is going to be a feature in 3.2 by standard, by the way. So this is to get even better integration in existing environments, existing applications. Networking, I already said. Almost everything that was not dynamic in 3.0 and before is now dynamic. Adding a network interface to the environment, live running VM is no problem at all. You can just create the NIC and in a few seconds it's there. You will see it pop it up if you have a console open to the VM. For example, I tried it with the Windows XP yesterday evening still, and in a couple of seconds it's there. Hardware is detected, drivers installed, and it's up, running, no problem at all. Also, a new function here is called port mirroring. It's only a tick that you can set, and that makes it possible for you to monitor all the traffic that goes to VMs. So if you have, for example, an external monitoring application or a systems management application and you want to drill down in what's going on into the network, you can, what this option does is it makes a copy of all network traffic to that one specified VM, so to that monitor application, so that you can look further in what's going on networking. Upload of disks. There is a new tab in the web admin interface, where you can see all the specifics about what disks are coupled to which VMs, what the status is it thin provisioned, is it pre-allocated, what about the space, what about quota, is it all in place? You can manage disks completely separate of what we had before, and also hot plugging of disk is now possible. Direct LUN support, also a new one. For example, and I don't know how many of you have external storage in use, but if you have, for example, an external iSCSI box or fiber channel in use, normally you had to create first an NFS mount on it to get it into RHEV. Now it's possible to just create a connection directly to a LUN in a fiber channel disk cabinet or a iSCSI box, no problem at all. So direct LUN support. Sharing of disk, also a new possibility. For example, you have two running VMs, for example Red Hat Linux VMs, and you have a need to share information to the two VMs. For example, you have a database, you could set it up on one separate disk and connect that disk to two VMs. If those VMs are cluster aware, both the VMs can access the data on that disk. So this is what we call shareable disks. Yeah. Storage migration, one of the features that we've been long waiting for. There was not a real problem for the RHEV code, but it was a thing that was, it must have been enabled in QEMU, one of the packages that we use underneath. We have to wait for support on that one. Now it's in 3.1, it's a tech preview. 3.2, it will be a, no sorry, I say that not correctly. 3.1, it's a tech preview until RHEL 6.4 comes out. RHEL 6.4 is scheduled for spring next year, so within 3 months. When 6.4 is out, it will be a fully supported feature. But what you can do with live storage migration is that you don't only have the possibility to move a VM from one host to the other, but also that you can move the storage linked to that VM over to another storage box. So this creates a full HA also on storage. And this is a feature what we are really waiting for. So that function is there now, and you can use it. And what we also do is, we have done lots and lots of things on storage. We made the possibility to do a mount of POSIX file system. So basically everything that you can mount under Linux as a mount point, that is now accessible to RHEV, and you can use that as a data storage domain, so you can store your VMs on whatever you like. This is, and I have to stress that one, this is not really supported. Since if you want to use, for example, a ZFS file system and mount that as a data store for RHEV, you can do that, that's no problem. But we don't support it, since ZFS is not something that we really support from a RHEL point of view. You can use it, but you're on your own for support, or when you're on that big, we'll do best effort support. It's not really support. And what you see here also is that we can do cluster in that way, or better to say, embedded storage. Cluster is new for RHEV, and what you will see in RHEV is that cluster or Red Hat storage will be integrated as one product. I don't know if you've had a look at Red Hat storage or cluster before. If you look at the console function that was in alpha already for cluster, that has the same interface as RHEV had, and that's no coincidence. that's what we're really working on. RHEV and cluster will be one. Will be one management interface, and we'll integrate that over time more and more and more. What we do in 3.1 is we have the support to add bricks, for example, via the GUI, to create a data store on cluster or Red Hat storage, and make use of that. We optimize that storage, then we tune that in the background for virtualization images. And in the session of Marcel, there was a question, how's the performance then? What will it be like? What if you have lots and lots of small files in a VM? Will that then go back into the end-to-end performance of the VM? For example, I do a lot of queries on small files in a VM. Cluster won't have a negative performance on that, because cluster sees the VM image, the file, and cluster is file-based for now, is open, so read-writes are direct within the VM. No problem at all for performance. So that's fixed, that's good. Here you see some screenshots of how we integrate, and if you've had a look at the alpha console release for cluster, then this is familiar, I think. We have the possibility to add bricks, to do all the kind of volumes integration into RHEV. So stripe distributed, replicated striped, etc. We can do that. For virtual desktop, there we have also some new functionality. Auto starting of virtual machines. You all know if you want to use VDI, everybody gets to work between 8 and 9 on Monday morning. So everybody wants their desktop up and running, so you get a boot storm on your VDI infrastructure. What we can do now is to pre-start VMs or desktops before people come in. So we can time that, we can script that, we can do that from the management interface. So you can say, for example, I'll pre-start 50 VMs just before people get in. And when they get in and they want to connect to the desktop, they instantly get up a running VM. They get the desktop running. Also new in 3.1 is USB support. We had it already. We now call it in 3.1, and still it's 1.5 weeks old. We call it now legacy support. That's the classic USB redirection. We now have native support. So no para virtualization drivers anymore. We have native support to Linux. For Windows, yes, you have to use drivers, but we'll emulate a virtual device in Windows, and you can use your own drivers on top of it if you want. No problem at all. This is also good for example, smart card support. Smart card readers, there are lots of it. Different types, different ways of authenticating, etc. So this way we have a good way to implement it. You can use the own native drivers, and you do not have to rely on one specific driver of Red Hat or another vendor. If you want to try a product, you can do so. There is a download available. It's fairly simple. It's www.redhat.com/test drive or go to /virtualization and you can download the product. It's on 3.1 level right now. Try it for 60 days. It's fully supported in that 60 days, so you could drive Red Hat to madness if you want to. But just try and get a feel for how a support organization also works and what you can do with it. It's fully supported after the 60 days. It won't stop. You can run with it, but you won't get any updates. That's the only thing. And you can't bug the support organization anymore after 60 days. But just try it, do it, it's free, it's open source, lots and lots of possibilities, and I think a very, very good alternative to other products. Yeah, that's marketing, I don't do that. These are my contact details. Thank you for your time. You have a question, please ask.
How about migration from VMware or Citrix VMs?
Yeah, good question. Question is, how is it possible to move off from or to convert a VMware instance of a VMDK, for example, I presume you mean, to RHEV? Is that possible? We have the tooling for that. It's the virtual to virtual tooling that we provide with the product, and we can do that conversion. There's no problem. We support VMware in various versions and releases. We do the same thing for Xen, KVM workloads, existing KVM workloads. And what we'll also get when RHEL 6.4 comes out, we'll get physical to virtual conversion. So you could also do a bare metal conversion into RHEV. Further on, we have also several ISVs working together with us to provide more functionality or more ease of that. Because, to be honest, the tooling that we deliver, that's okay if you have to move 5, 10 or 20 VMs, but if you go into the hundreds, then you really would like to have some more automation with it and monitoring, and okay, then it's maybe time to also involve another product. For example, Acronis is working together with us, and we did some very good stuff with them, also proof of concepts, and one of the references I have for that one is SourcePool in the Netherlands. So, okay.
Live migration from Intel CPU to AMD CPU working?
No, it's not working. The question is it possible live migration from Intel to AMD processors or vice versa? The thing is, we can't support it. We can't do it. It's in KVM. KVM doesn't support it, and it depends on the instruction set. So we can't move a VM running on an Intel instruction set to another complete other instruction set like AMD. If you have, for example, a VM running on Intel Sandy Bridge, you could move that to Intel Westmere. That's no problem, because that's downwards compatible. Yeah? But from Intel to AMD, we can't do it. There is talk, by the way, within Red Hat, and this is no way an announcement or a product preview or a timeline or whatever. But it's only rumors and talk. What we would like to do is to also virtualize a processor. So get a layer on top of it, have the physical processors underneath, and present a virtual CPU to the VM. That way, we could do a live migration. So that's what we're thinking of, going that direction.
Isn't that just full virtualization?
That's full virtualization, yeah.
You've built it around and integrated with KVM. So how's the support model for the KVM? That's underneath. So if I have a problem with your product and it's in the KVM layer, Red Hat will solve it, or is there?
Good question also. Question is, what about KVM support? So if there is a problem on the KVM technology, which RHEV uses, how would it be solved? Now the thing is that if you look at KVM, KVM is a technology invented by Qumranet several years ago. Qumranet is acquired in 2009 by Red Hat. So we've got lots and lots of knowledge about KVM since it's our own product. No, it's not. But we have the skill, and we work very, very good together. If you see how much effort is taking in bug fixing or getting new features in to KVM, it's primarily Red Hat that is providing that. And that's also one of the things, this is why RHEV is an enterprise supported product. If you want to use the free version, community version, which is called Over, you're free to do so. It's a tech preview of what's coming to RHEV, basically. But this is a fully supported product. So if you experience a failure of a KVM module, we're responsible to solve it. Since you have an SLA with us, that's what we call subscription. Yeah. All right. Other questions? Yeah?
Can you, in the web interface, can you get console view of VM running, or does it go with VNC, or is it in the browser?
No, it's not in the browser. If you, what we use is, how do we get a console session from the GUI to a running VM? That we use Spice, or we use RDP, or we use VNC, whatever you choose that you want to use as a connection. But it's a communication protocol that we use on top of TCP/IP. So it's either Spice, either VNC, either RDP. You mentioned from a browser. So, for example, HTML5, which is what lots and lots of people are talking about. There is a Spice project going on right now. It's a preview, Spice with an HTML5 client, as an HTML5 client. So that's zero client Spice. It's a project called Kanaka, and it's on the internet, you can find it. So that's maybe of interest also. Other questions?
Is there anything we can do with REST APIs that we can with Python?
Sorry.
Is there anything we cannot do with via the REST APIs that can be done with Python?
The question is there a difference between the possibilities in the REST API and what you can do in the software development kit, so in Python? No, there's no difference. You can do, it's same functionality. Yeah. So I think I'm out of time, is it? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.